Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Game of Thrones Winter's Coming. It's another commander video where we're going to take a look at the spear commander Arslan. And Arslan is a very offensive single target focused commander. And you can see the attack is pretty high, the health is somewhat low and the defense is also low, so he's basically a glass cannon. And he has also like various side effects like any other commander, but he's fairly straightforward, and we will take a look at that in just a moment. And of course at the end of the video we're also going to take a look at the tavern stats as well, so let's get right into it. Let's jump right into it. You all know what's going to happen here, because we are of course still focusing on training grounds, rebel leaders and PvP fights. And you have an overview of the skill sets that Arslan has, where you can go back if you need to and kind of take a look at how it works. And then there's of course his awakening skill, which basically heals 2% of the wounded for the ally troop with the greatest losses, and it's basically every 8 seconds, so that's good to know. And then of course his basic stats, which we already talked about at the start of this video, where you can see just health, attack, and so on and so on. So let's jump right into the training grounds part, because in training grounds you would want to put Arslan in one of the 3 back row spots due to the fact that he's a glass cannon, which means that if he's put in the front row he will die very fast. Even against tanks he will still die extremely fast, and it will not really result in anything positive coming from here. His strong points on the other hand are the fact that he's a good offensive commander. He has high base damage, high DPS in general. He has a might restoration for faster skill charge, and the might restoration passive is not explained very well if it's only once after 5 seconds into the match, or how it works. But basically might in this game is basically the energy required to use an active skill, so might restoration is something that only a few commanders has, and that's a very powerful tool. He is of course strong against cavalry commanders and okay against spear ones, as long as he doesn't have to tank them. In terms of damage output against them, he is pretty decent. And of course he has an active skill that gets increased damage against low health targets. I believe it's below 33 or 30%. And his active skill will basically get a couple of thousand extra damage, which can be quite crucial at breaking down walls or trying to kill off a commander before it gets healed or something like that. But that's kind of like some of the strong points he has regarding training grounds. And free-to-play players will most likely want to use him as a counter against defensive cavalry commanders. So for rebel leaders, you would want to use Arslan either at the top, front or bottom front row, mainly because that's where he gets the most damage done, and if you put him in the back he will basically lose out on one attack animation, which basically means that you will have less damage compared to if you had a bow commander sitting there in the back. Of course there can be differences in terms of if you have better commanders to place here, then you can put him in the back because of the counter matchup against cavalry rebel leaders, for example. So strong points regarding Arslan is that he's a very offensive commander, similar to PvP. He has high DPS output. He has an attack buff at the start of the battle that increases his damage, which is always nice to have. The attack buff will last, I believe it's 5 or 10 seconds, and after that it will go away. I'm not sure if it will come back after at some specific point, but he has at least an attack increase at the beginning. And then he also has this increased critical hit chance from his passive, increasing his crit rate of course. And that basically means that he has a chance of dealing extra damage, and not entirely sure how crits are determined or critical hits are determined in this game, but I would assume that is a damage multiplier, so you basically do more damage, but the action of landing a critical hit is somewhat vague and can be very difficult. It really depends on luck, and because of that at certain times you can see number variations in terms of damage done to rebel leaders, because you might have been lucky getting a lot of crits, and you might also have been unlucky getting a lot less crits, so keep that in mind when you're using him as well against rebel leaders. PvP fights, as you can see, he has basically an active damage skill like any other. He has focus on increased wood production, and then spear health and spear attack. His strong points basically, as you can see here, is that he has focused around the spear health and spear attack. Both those buffs are quite crucial, especially if you're focusing around spear, because spear health for free-to-play players at least is difficult to come around regarding badges, so because badges always cost, at least health badges cost black diamonds. So it's a nice way to kind of get an increased boost to defensive stats for spears as well in terms of health, and of course attack is always nice to have. Awakening skill that heals troops after a set time. We saw that it was every 8 seconds, so that can be quite crucial. It might also match up with certain other commander skills. I know that Jaime Lannister has some healing skills, or some skills that trigger after healing, so you might look into that if you want to combine certain commanders. At least I would recommend that. And then of course there's awakening buffs for spear attack, health and defense, as well as food production, which is really nice to have when using Arslan or focusing on spear. So I would say that for free-to-play players that are focusing on spear, he's a really good commander. For others, he might be worth investing into, but you might also have other priorities. At least his awakening skill can be decent with the correct setup and the correct combination of commanders and skills, so keep that in mind when using him. But before we're ending the video, we're going to take one last look at Arslan's tavern stats, so be right back. So for the end of the video, we have the tavern stats as usual. And regarding Arslan, we have that it's focused around aptitude and command. Both don't really give you that much, 2 aptitude and 3 command, and the command is still something that's questionable regarding if once T5 is unlocked, if you get command from that way as well, or if it's just going to stay T4 as well. But T4 even is still pretty decent in this current form anyways, so that's not a big huge issue. And aptitude is always nice, but of course once you get him 2-star unlocked or 2-star awakened, you will get 1-star on both aptitude and command, so you'll be 3 aptitude and 4 command. But overall, not something that's super exciting or anything like that. It's something that's nice to have, but something that most PvP fighters at least, or probably wouldn't really focus on. They would probably just focus on getting the combat rate as high as possible. But yeah, kind of sorry for the last few weeks. I haven't really been doing many videos other than the commander videos. Have been very busy with the work schedule that's kind of shifting around all the time. So, but I still hope that you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to. There'll be some other videos coming up. My work schedule should be lessening a bit now, hopefully, and that way I can give you all guys somewhat different content as well. But either way, if you want to play the game, the link is down in the description below, and of course the link for the Game of Thrones Discord is as well there, and the link for the channel where I get my music from. And lastly, I also want to say that you're always welcome to comment in the comment section and write certain things about things you want me to look into, or just general things that you really want to talk about or so. I'm always there to discuss things. But either way, I hope you like the video, and yeah, good luck with everything. Have a nice weekend. See you all guys next time. Bye bye.